Hey, what's up fellow drivers? David here, and I just want to give you a quick update on some things that are happening with the MR2. So I'm going to pull it out of the garage and we'll take a look. Okay, so first thing we can take a look at before even opening up the car or doing anything. I got a window tint, which you might say, what window tint? Of course I'm in the shade, so it might not be quite as obvious one way or another, but I got a really light tint. It is 70% right here, which is actually the California legal limit, and technically you can black out the back window as dark as you want, but you know, I still want to be able to see out at night, and I don't know, I just kind of like keeping everything uniform, so I didn't want to go like way darker than it is over here. The other cool thing about this tint, and the reason why it's actually worth doing, even though it's so light, is the fact that it's the dub tint. I think it's called IR dub or dub IR. Correct me in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. It blocks out UV rays, ultraviolet, all of those harmful things that will damage not only your skin, but of course the car interior as well. And it just makes it slightly darker, but I didn't want an excuse to, you know, get pulled over for something. So really the cool thing about it is that it just keeps the interior of the car way cooler, even if it's out in the sun. So you can notice a big difference right away that like when you have your AC on, it just cools it down so much faster. And when it's been parking out in the sun and then I get in it after a while, it's not nearly as hot. So even though it doesn't look that dark, it's very effective, but you do pay for it. So shout out to Diana and Oni Wraps. They hooked me up, and yeah, really happy with the tint. It's also, just side note, same kind as I got on the GTR. So what else? The other thing that's been happening is gauges. So I'm actually really hyped for these. I've been wanting to get gauges for a really long time. It's actually one of those things that I wanted to get like way back in the day, but I just didn't have the budget for them, and I didn't really have any reason to get them either. So these are Revel VLS gauges, and this is what they look like turned off. I still have the actual like plastic thing that you have to peel off, so maybe I'll peel that off in a minute, but I just wanted to leave them protective. I literally just got these installed yesterday. So we'll go ahead and start it up so you can see what these look like. The camera was totally blinded, but it does this little startup sequence where you can see like the blue light run like all the way around, and does that little beep that I'm sure you guys heard, and then it starts reading the current values. So over here on the left I have the oil temp, and then over here on the right I have the oil pressure, and it's running kind of high at the moment because it's that like high idle when you first start up the car. But this will go down to about 20 or even like 18, 17. And this is more of like an actual driving PSI, or even as low as like 40s. And then operating temp here, right now it's really hot out. It's fall, supposedly, here in California, but it's still literally 100 degrees. And so I was noticing when I'm driving, this easily gets up to like 198, even 200, slightly above 200. And then I don't know, but on track, I'm guessing this could totally get up to like 220, 225. And what I really liked about these gauges was that it has both the like analog gauge around the outside. Sorry, I know it's getting glared. It has both the analog gauges around the outside and the digital gauges on the inside. The bezel is actually made by Campos Composites, and I did my own finish here to try and match this. It's not 100%, but I think I got it pretty close. Just some rattle can and like semi-gloss closely. And I really like this particular setup because it's like kind of clean and hidden. You know, it's more subtle. You know, you can get the pods up here, but personally, I don't know. It's just I like having it here. It's like out of the way, and it's not like I really need the ashtray anyway. And the particular thing about these gauges are that it matches my head unit, so I'm getting like the white and blue LED. So thank you to ETL Garage for installing these, and thank you to Campos for making this, and Revel for making some freaking awesome gauges. Next thing to talk about is here in the engine bay. So for a long time my heat shield has needed to be recoated because it was getting kind of nasty. The original paint that was done on it wasn't really like the proper coating, but now it actually has the ceramic coating on it, so that shouldn't degrade, and it matches all the matte black, everything else that I have in here. And last thing to talk about is the front lip. So some of you may remember that I actually cracked my front lip when I was driving up in the mountains, and there was a big rock in the middle of the road, and there was no way. Like, I either had to go onto the wrong side of the road or try and drive over it, or just go down the middle and hope I was high enough to clear it. I wasn't, so it cracked it. So I finally found a paint and body shop that's gonna do this, and along with that there's something else that I'm getting painted, but maybe we'll leave that for another video. Anyway, thanks as always for watching. Just wanted to give you a quick update on the MR2. Go ahead and subscribe if you haven't already, like the video, and give me your thoughts on what you think about the tint and the gauges, and future plans for the MR2 in the comments below.